So we have a formula, f of c equals 9/5 c plus 32, that can be used to convert between temperatures that are expressed in degrees Celsius, which we represent with c, and then to degrees Fahrenheit, f of c. So really we kind of have this relationship where c gets sent to f of c, and that's going to be the temperature in degrees Fahrenheit. So if we find what f of 22 is, then it's just a matter of plugging 22 in for your c input. So it just ends up being 9/5 times 22 plus 32. So to multiply that out, 9 times 22 is going to give you 198/5 plus 32. And then to get an exact answer for that, you're going to need to get a common denominator. So this 32 is going to have to be multiplied by 5/5 to give you that common denominator of 5. So you're going to end up having to find the sum of 198/5 with 160/5. And when you add that together, that's going to give you then a sum of 358/5 there. When you equate that to a decimal, it does come out to be like 71.4 degrees. And that would be now in Fahrenheit. So it's basically just saying, right, that to interpret this in context, it's just that 22 degrees in Celsius is going to measure 71.4 degrees in Fahrenheit measure. And then in the second question here, we have that f of c equals -14 for what value of c? So what's going on right here is we actually don't know what number is right there, but we know that we get a result, or in other words, an output of -14 when we use this rule called capital F and we apply it to this particular input. Right? So we kind of have to work backwards because we know the output. We know the answer to taking 9/5 times something plus 32 is -14, which means really we can just kind of set the rule 9/5. Let me write that correctly. This rule of 9/5 c plus 32, and it's going to give us an answer of -14, right? And then we can just take that equation and really just solve it for c to figure out what that corresponding c value would be. So if you first subtract 32 on both sides, then you isolate 9/5 c, and that's going to give you then -46 on that side. And then we're going to have to multiply both sides by 5/9, because then that's just going to multiply to equal 1, so you just get 1c on that side. And then you have to take this side and multiply it by 5/9 there. When you do so, you're going to end up getting -239 on that particular side. And so that right there is really actually going to correspond to the degrees in Celsius. -239 is approximately -25.5 degrees Celsius. So it's really just saying that when it's about -25.5 degrees Celsius, right, that's really corresponding to when it's -14 degrees Fahrenheit outside.